Good morning, church. Thanks for joining us. Let's worship together.
Who am I that the highest king would welcome me? I was lost, but he brought me into his love for me. Oh, his love for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. Free at last, he has ransomed me, his grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you say I am. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am.
Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, you are, Lord. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 That is who you are.
Even when I don't see it, you're working.
Yes.
Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. That is who you are. 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 Miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Come on, church, can we sing it? Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 That is who you are.
Hey church, it's getting rough out here when the pastor has to live stream from his garage. Well, actually, it's not that bad. I thought you would enjoy a change of scenery, and you'll understand why I'm recording at this location in just a moment. This actually reminds me of a show I loved back in the 90s called Home Improvement. You remember that one? How many of you liked that show? I know my wife did because she had a crush on Jonathan Taylor Thomas. The main character was Tim Taylor. He was a host of a home improvement show. Do you remember by chance the name of his show? Anybody out there? Who'll be the first to type the right answer in the comments right now? If you type the right answer, I'll send you a gift card to Home Depot this week. What's the name of the show? Anybody got it? I think I see it there. Tool Time. That's right. And here was the funny thing about Tool Time. The irony of the plot of Tim the Tool Man was that he was not as handy at home as he was on the screen. And I can relate. Don't let these tools behind me fool you. I like tools because they make me feel useful and needed around the house, though I really don't know how to use half of them. And for some of us, that's a realistic comparison to the Bible. You let it lay around the house, but you never really grasp the meaning or take the time to study it for yourself. And that's why we as a church are committed to preaching the Bible and not just talking about current events and culture and politics. We believe the Word of God is the most powerful tool on this planet. And if you will allow it to, it will change your life. And for the past 12 weeks, we have been on a life-changing journey to spiritual freedom as we walk through the second book of the Bible, Exodus. And can we take a moment and celebrate with those who have made spiritual decisions and even placed their faith in Jesus during this series? Come on, right now, let's have an online praise party. That's what we're all about. Come on, take just a second, take a praise break, and let's give God the glory there. Drop some praise hands in the comments, and we just thank God for all those who've come to know Jesus. And today, I'm going to end this series. And next week, believe it or not, we're going to celebrate Easter like we have never celebrated it before. As a matter of fact, if you are in the Cincinnati area watching this and actively attend our church, be sure you email us your address or fill out an online connection card so we can make sure we have your information, because we're preparing an Easter care basket for all of our members that are going to be delivered this Thursday or this Friday. And if you would like to help us make those deliveries, be sure to let us know. But before we're ready for Easter, we have to finish our series today. How many of you watched the 10 Commandments on TV last night? Pretty good timing, right? I wonder if you're ready for our last sermon in our Exodus series. If you are, come on, drop a thumbs up emoji right now. I'm waiting to see the first thumbs up emoji. You ready? Okay, good. Okay, Exodus 35. There are 40 chapters in the book of Exodus, but we're ending our series in Exodus 35, and we're going to begin our reading in verse number 4. Are you ready? Here we go. It says, Moses has left Sinai. Now, I'm not reading yet. I'm just giving you the title of the chapter here that the writers of the compilers of this particular Bible writes. Moses has left Mount Sinai. He spent 40 days quarantined alone with God on that mountain. And when he left the mountain in Exodus 34:29 tells us that he wasn't the same. He didn't even look the same because of the glory of God that was radiating off of him. Wouldn't that be amazing if when our time of isolation is over, we came out of it different? And I mean in a good way, because we sought the face of God. You know, the alternative is what the people did while Moses was on the mountain in isolation. They went looking for new gods. So what's the first thing? We're getting ready to read it. What's the first thing Moses did after his 40 days of social isolation? It's found in verse number 4 and verse number 5. Let me read it for you. It says, and Moses spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord commanded, saying, take from among you an offering to the Lord. Whoever is of a willing heart, let him bring it as an offering to the Lord. He took an offering. Now, I promise you, this isn't a setup. In no way am I being tone deaf to the current realities that we're all facing by proposing this is a good time to take an offering. But I unapologetically believe the best time for the followers of Jesus to unleash generosity is during a crisis. So Moses is receiving an offering as a solution to their and our greatest need. And that need is the presence of God. So God says, I want you, Moses, to make a mobile place of worship. Very much what we do, very much like what we do at our campuses located at the schools. Or it's like what I have set up here in my garage. God says, I want a portable church, a portable place of worship. One that is movable, one that is adaptable, one that settles down when my presence is known, and one that will get up and go when I am on the moon, says the Lord, in the Kirk Kirkland version. So they take an offering for this big tent, or a tabernacle, as Moses calls it. And the tent is being used as a vehicle for worship. The tent was a tool to bring about God's purposes on the earth. God could manifest himself in any way he willed, but he chose to use a tool to accomplish his purposes. He didn't need anything, but he chooses to use tools in the way that he interacts with us. Now you understand why we're here in the garage, don't you? Have you ever had a situation or a job that you didn't have the right tool? What did you do? Well, either you improvised, which usually doesn't work out so well, does it? Or, you learned how to blacksmith and make your own tools. Or, like the majority of people, what do? You go out and buy one. Well, recently we were having a fence installed in our backyard, and I had a problem. I had this leaning tree. I think I have a picture of it for you. I had this leaning tree that I felt like could fall at any time. You see that tree there? Look at that. It's dangerous. So I decided to cut it down. I decided to cut it down the day before our fence was installed. I guess I figured I would eliminate the risk of it falling on the fence. Or, worse, I didn't want it to fall on our kids. But I waited to the last minute so that I had to solve the problem myself, right? Because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to cut down a tree. And so after watching about 20 people on YouTube almost kill themselves cutting down trees, I was an expert. The only problem was I didn't have a chainsaw. Well, Karen was out shopping, so I asked her to pick me up a chainsaw. Now, hoping that she would get a good one and maybe save a little money, I told her not to get the cheapest one, but not to get the most expensive one. Are you like that? You don't want the cheapest one, but you don't want the most expensive one. And I knew she wasn't too thrilled about me having a chainsaw either. So she comes home with a 16-inch Craftsman chainsaw. Well, I made one cut into that tree, and I realized I didn't have the best tool for the size tree that I was cutting down. So what did I need? What was it that I needed? What? More power, right? More power. And I needed a bigger bar. So I went and got a 20-inch. Matter of fact, I got this chainsaw right here that's hanging on my wall. I got a 20-inch chainsaw, one of the more top-of-the-line pieces of equipment. And long story short, I have a stack of logs in my backyard waiting to be split. Who wants to come and help me? But I want you to know this. I've also learned that cutting down the tree and getting them in the logs, and that's not the end of the job. After you get the logs, you got to split them, and that's not the easiest job. What I've learned is you've got to have the right tools here. Now, I happen to have this log here, And maybe you would think, well, I know the right tool is not this little hatchet. I know that's not going to do anything. So I went out and I got myself an axe, right? Pretty sharp. Actually got a sharpener too. And I know it's really confounded and complicated here. But what I've learned is this axe isn't good for splitting logs like I have here. Now, what it's really good for is moving some of these logs around. And so it really kind of saved my back. The fact that I could just use this here and slide it around like I did so. But as you can see there, it really isn't made for splitting these big logs. So what did I do? I went and I got another tool, right? I got, the mother of all axes here. I got a splitter. And so maybe if I could just demonstrate this, if you can see this on my other camera here. I'm going to try my best without killing anybody because I don't want to go viral in that way, okay? So come up here and then come down. But what do you see there? Even this high dollar, highfalutin, big Bertha axe tool, oh, excuse me there. Oh man, it really isn't even made for splitting these types of logs. And so what I learned is I need a different type of tool. Oh man, I don't know if this is going to ruin my illustration here. Oh. Not cut out for this. So what do I need? I don't know that I'm going to split this log here on this camera, but what I need is a different tool. I need something that I didn't even know that was used for splitting logs. And so maybe if I get this started here. And let me see, do a little work here. You ready? Ready, church? Okay. I think I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. Okay. I think you get the point. What's the point? Wow. I think the point is you need the right tool for the job. And I don't even know, after all the trips to Home Depot and Lowe's, that I have the right tool for the job. And what I see in the remainder of this chapter is God's purposes being accomplished on earth because he had the right tools. Am I talking about the tabernacle? No, not yet. I mean, how do they get a tabernacle? Do they order it on Amazon? Of course not. Here's the secret to life. Some of us are waiting around for the right thing to just pop in our life. But that's not how God always works. He doesn't give you the thing. Sometimes he gives you the tools to get to the thing. Can I give you an example? Are you lonely? Well, community isn't found, it's built. The Bible says, he who wants friends must show himself friendly. Do you need a team? Maybe you lead an organization or you have a business or you're in a certain department and you need a team to accomplish your mission. So where do you go out and recruit, find a team of all-stars? Well, great teams aren't found. They just don't pop into your office. They're built. What you need is the right tools to build the right things. And in Exodus chapter 35, I see three tools that God used to build his tabernacle, and they are three tools that God uses to build his kingdom today and to accomplish the purpose for which we were made, for the reason we were put on this earth. What is that? What is that purpose? It's to love God and to love others and to make disciples. Those tools are to accomplish the Great Commandment and the Great Commission. And so I failed today with these tools. I didn't have the right tools, or at least I didn't have the right muscle. But God gives us tools in Exodus chapter 35. 3 of them that accomplish his purpose in building the tabernacle and also accomplish his purpose in building the kingdom. Are you ready for them? You ready? Here we go. Number 1 is a willing heart. Number 2, a gifted artist. And number 3, a stirred spirit. A willing heart. Look at the first one. Look in verse number 4 and 5. We'll put it up on the screen. It says, and Moses spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord commanded, saying, take from among you an offering to the Lord. Notice this. Whoever is of a willing heart. This is for everyone. There's no skills needed. The greatest ability is availability. In this chapter, everyone, rich, poor, men, women, anyone whose heart was willing was used by God. And the people were willing. Everyone played their part. And that's the type of people God is using to accomplish his purposes today. People with a willing heart. One of my favorite stories is about Booker T. Washington, one of the founders of Tuskegee University. Soon after he became the president of the college, and this is in the middle of Jim Crow and the segregated South, he was walking in a well-to-do part of town. Well, he walks by a certain lady's home, and the lady didn't know who this famous Booker T. Washington was. So she invited him to cut some wood for him. Well, Booker T. Washington, being a humble man, he rolled up his sleeves, he smiled, and he cut the wood. Obviously, he did a lot better job than I did. Cut it up in neat stacks and actually laid it neatly in her home. And she offered to pay him money. Well, later on, a little girl said, don't you know who that was? That's Booker T. Washington. He's the president of the college. Well, just kind of mortified, the woman went and sought out Mr. Washington. And not only did she become friends with him, but she got some of her friends to begin to donate towards the university. And together with her donations and her friends' donations, they gave tens of thousands of dollars to that university. Mr. Washington was willing. It didn't matter what his position was, what his title was. And I want you to know that his willingness made a difference. It made an impact that went past himself. So number 1 was a willing heart. Number 2, a gifted artist. Look at verse 10. Look what it says there, if we can put it up on the screen. It says, all who are gifted artisans among you shall come and make all that the Lord has commanded. Here the Lord is calling for his special forces. Maybe when you think of that, you would think of that being like the equivalent of Whitney Houston or Michael Jackson on the praise team. Or maybe you would think of Steven Spielberg or the team at Pixar on the church production team. Or maybe it would be like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs on the church board of trustees. Or, go with me here, maybe it's just normal, everyday people who God has gifted. And I believe that everyone has a gift. If you can smile, you are gifted. If you can write, you are gifted. If you can think, you have a gift. If you can cook, you have a gift.